You are Locked On Knicks POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports New York on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
All right, we're back. The Knicks own the Nets. Such has been the case for a while now. Tonight, no different. Knicks beat the Nets at Barclays 99-95. Make it 9 consecutive wins for the Knicks over the Nets. It's also the first time this year in 2025 that the Knicks have actually won back-to-back games. Of course, they beat Atlanta on Monday. Now they've beaten Brooklyn on Tuesday. Karl Anthony Towns led the way with 25. New York now 29-16 overall. Hello, everyone. I'm Jay Berman. If you're a New Yorker, you might recognize my work. If not, welcome aboard. I've spent more than 2 decades in the biz, everything from TV to web to radio. Please follow me on X at Jay Berman, Jayberman. Welcome to the Locked On Knicks postcast, both on the Locked On Sports New York YouTube channel and the Locked On Knicks podcast feed. The postcast gives you a place to hang out after every single Knicks game. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. We'll break down the day for Mikal Bridges, who made his long-awaited return to Brooklyn. He chipped in with 10 points. At one point, however, the Knicks had a 13-point edge in the second half. It disappeared in the fourth quarter. In fact, the Knicks were trailing by 2 at one point, but they overcame some late shooting struggles, and they beat Brooklyn again, as we said, 99-95, the final score. All that coming up on the postcast. Today's episode is sponsored by Prize Picks. Now's the perfect time to join. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. That's right. No need to win to get the bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. And before we start, your favorite podcast now has a newsletter. Introducing the Locked On Knicks Daily Newsletter. One stop for ultimate league and team coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. Again, that's LockedOnDaily.com, and start your day with the all-new free Locked On Knicks newsletter. All right, as we said, 99-95, the final score. Bragging rights go to the Knicks. As we said, they've now won 9 straight games over the Nets. What's interesting is, if you recall, prior to the 9-game win streak for the Knicks over the Nets, I kid you not, folks, the Nets beat the Knicks 9 straight times. So it's been a series of runs, and now the Knicks are officially in it. As we said, 9 straight wins over the Nets. The Knicks are improved to 5-6 in their last 11, slowly creeping up towards 500 of late. Of course, it's been a win-loss alternate now for the better part of 3 weeks. The Knicks are 9-2 in their last 11 road games. And as we said, not very many road games to go, at least in the near future. Plenty of home games. We'll get to the schedule coming up. Also, worthy of mention, the Knicks are now 8-1 versus the Atlantic Division this season. Of course, the only loss coming on opening night to the Boston Celtics. They've won every other game they've played against the division. Now, the Knicks did not have a lead after one quarter. They trailed the Nets 26-24 after one. The significance, well, that's 2 straight games that the Knicks have trailed after one, only to win. The Knicks, when leading after the first quarter, are 17-3. Yet, the last 2 games they've been trailing after the first quarter, and they've gone on to win. So, who knows what it means? It does mean that when you get off to a quick start, you have a better chance of winning. But the Knicks have stayed close early with their last couple of opponents, both resulting in wins. The powerful quarter for the Knicks tonight was definitely the second quarter, one that featured 35 points. Contrast that with the fourth quarter for the Knicks tonight. They pumped in only 15. It was a 20-15 score in the fourth quarter for the Nets over the Knicks, and yet the Knicks still won by 4. At one point, there was 3.5 minutes to play in the fourth quarter, and the Knicks had a total of 3 points in the fourth quarter, almost 9 minutes into that stanza. So it tells you perhaps a little bit about the energy levels of the Knicks tonight. Back-to-back is always brutal in the NBA. Now, did the Knicks have to travel? No, they did not. They played at Madison Square Garden yesterday afternoon. So certainly sleeping in their own beds last night, got to go to bed at a reasonable hour. So yes, they didn't have to travel, but still it's back-to-back games and back-to-back close games. Those are always so much more brutal on the body, especially the way guys like Karl Anthony Towns plays, Jalen Brunson plays, Josh Hart plays, even OG and Mikal Bridges. They're all rough and tumble type guys. There's no doubt they're going to be tired, especially in the second half of the back end of a back-to-back. It just makes sense that the Knicks were tired. However, a win is a win, and the Knicks did exactly that, as we said, to win their first back-to-back situation since the end of the 9-game win streak that ended technically on Friday, January 3rd. That was in Oklahoma City. And that was the loss to snap the 9-game win streak. They have been alternating losses since the Toronto win in early January, win-loss, all the way up until tonight when they finally won back-to-back games. Again, Atlanta yesterday, 119-110 in a close one. Jalen Brunson had 34. And then tonight, Karl Anthony Towns led the way with 25, leads all scorers, and the Knicks win it 99-95. As we said, they improved to 29-16. They are now 15-8 away from Madison Square Garden. And as difficult a place as MSG is to play, and it's difficult, especially when the crowd gets going, well, the Knicks have been just as effective away from MSG. The Knicks travel well, and we'll get to the crowd tonight. We'll get to a mistake that the Nets made before they ever laced up a sneaker. We'll tell you about that coming up. Karl Anthony Towns, as we said, led the way, and what a night it was for him. 25 points, 16 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks, even committed 5 turnovers for good measure. But again, 16 rebounds, including 5 offensive rebounds, which the Knicks have been so good at of late. OG Anunoby had 3 offensive rebounds. Karl Anthony Towns had 5. The Knicks had 9 as a team. So again, excellent offensive stuff, rugged stuff. The Knicks finally keep an opponent under 100 points. The Knicks had given up at least 100 points in 12 of their last 13 games. Well, make that 12 of 14 now as they hold the Brooklyn Nets under 100. In fact, the field goal percentage for the Nets was horrific. Just 37%. They were 32 of 86 from the floor. They chucked up 43 pointers, made just 12 of them. As for the Knicks, they made just 8 3-pointers, which is obviously well below their season average, well below their season 3-point percentage at just 28%. They're usually in the upper 30s. They were 40 of 87 from the floor. Now let's get to the goods. 25 for Towns, 20 for OG. Mikal Bridges in his return, we'll get to him coming up, had just 10. Josh Hart had 7 in 39 minutes. But let me give you an idea of just how effective he is as a New York Knick. 7 points on 3 of 5 shooting. Took 5 shots. Grabbed 12 rebounds. Dished out 9 assists. Had 2 steals. Amazing stuff from Josh Hart, even when he isn't scoring. In fact, he's doing the rebound, assist, steal, block thing much more than he scores. Again, just 7 points. He was the only Knicks starter not in double figures. The Knicks also went with a 4-man bench rotation again tonight. The usual suspects. Precious played 18 minutes. Campaign played 9. Deuce played 18. Landry Shamet came in for 6. And we did not see anybody else. Ryan Toppin, Sims, Hukporti, Kolek, or Dadier, none of them played. So again, another 9-man rotation. Really, it's been 8. If you include Precious Ochua, campaign, and Deuce McBride, Landry Shamet has played single-digit minutes really for the last couple of weeks. Just to get those starters a blow. But again, Knicks were 8 of 28 from 3, so nothing to write home about. As for the plus minus, Karl Anthony Towns was a plus 16. Despite the Knicks only scoring 99 points and Karl Anthony Towns only having 25 on 11 of 19 shooting, the Brooklyn Nets really had no answer in the paint, and many teams don't. For Karl Anthony Towns, that's how valuable he's been. In addition to Jalen Brunson. Brunson was 7 of 18. What's interesting about tonight is the Knicks were 11 of 14 from the line. Yes, that's pretty good. But a heavy favor in the form of free throws went towards the Nets tonight. They took 25 free throws. The Knicks took just 14. So obviously some interesting calls. You like to be in a situation where the free throws are pretty even. However, the Knicks have a big man in the paint at 7 feet tall, and the Nets don't have anyone like that. So there's going to be some banging. That's where you get all the fouls from. But again, Cat, 25 points, 16 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks, 4 fouls. Quite a night there for Karl Anthony Towns. We'll talk about the Bridges return. Also want to mention something that the Nets did or didn't do prior to the game. We'll discuss that coming up next. All right, from the first whistle to the final drive, FanDuel makes the NFL playoffs even more exciting. Right now, new customers can bet $5, get $300 in bonus bets. That if you win your first bet. That's $300 to keep the action going. The FanDuel app is easy to navigate, and the variety of bets keeps every game exciting. Plus, when you win, you get paid instantly. No waiting around for your winnings. Again, that's instantly. Whether you're betting on your favorite team or just looking to add some extra excitement to the playoffs, FanDuel has you covered. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. Get started with $300 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Make this playoff season unforgettable with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. All right, we are back. Segment 2 here of the Knicks postcast as Mikal Bridges made his return to Brooklyn. Knicks beat the Nets for a 9th consecutive time. Final score 99-95. Bridges 3 of 12. And what's interesting about his night is you could tell right away the Knicks were going to Bridges. They were going to get him the ball. The shots weren't falling. And he sort of just not fizzled out, but just became less obvious that he was on the court in the second half specifically. He did play 34 minutes. Of course, we've gotten into the minute situation plenty of times here on the postcast. Bridges played just 34 minutes. In fact, that was the fewest minutes played by a Knicks starter tonight. And considering the minutes per game situation, Bridges at nearly 39, tops in the NBA. Josh Hart second in the NBA, nearly 38. Well, surprising to see Bridges at only 34 minutes tonight. Hart, Brunson, and Cat all played 39 minutes. OG played 37. And considering it was a close game, really for most of the night, with the exception of the couple of minutes where the Knicks were up by 13, it was a close game. You expected the minutes to be at least 40. Not one Knick got to 40 minutes. And of course, the bench struggles points-wise continue. Well, why is that? The Knicks, of course, have the lowest scoring bench in the NBA, 22 points per game. But obviously, the Knicks have one of the strongest starting fives in the league. So, not much pressure on the bench there. And obviously, the minutes have a lot to do with it. When the starters are all playing around 40 minutes, there's not minutes to be had for the bench. Thus, there's not points to be scored for the bench. So it makes perfect sense. As for the plus minuses, interesting breakup here. If you recall, all 5 starters against the Hawks were minuses. Plus 16 for Cat tonight, plus 8 for Mikal Bridges. The other 3 starters were all negative. So, again, Not a masterpiece by any stretch of the imagination, but in the NBA, especially in the dog days, folks, we're into the second half of the season now. This is when all that matters is wins. The Knicks are desperately trying to get to a break with their heads above water. They do exactly that. They will not play Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. We'll get to the schedule coming up. I want to talk about what the Nets did before the game. Now, if you're a Net fan, obviously you were disturbed by the amount of Knicks fans in the building tonight. But it wasn't unexpected. That was expected. Bad Nets team. They don't draw well. We're in the same city. There's far more Knicks fans. Knicks fans are going to show up and show out. That's exactly what happened. However, if the objective is to get your opponent into your building and have them feel as comfortable as possible, well, that's what the Nets did. Because not only did they allow all those fans in, Knicks fans, but they let the Knicks wear their home jerseys. Now, the home team chooses which jersey they're going to wear for that respective game. They chose to wear their black jerseys, did Brooklyn. That's fine. But it's almost like it was a Knicks home game. So the Knicks had the crowd. The Knicks had their white jerseys. The only thing that was different was the floor. So again, you might not put much stock into it, but I will tell you, when the Knicks came out for warmups in all white gear, I said to myself, wow, not only are there going to be 18,000 screaming Knicks fans, and there were, because you heard it every time Deuce took a shot. You heard MVP every time Brunson took a shot. Point being, there was more Knicks fans than Net fans. And what do the Nets do? They let the Knicks get comfortable and wear their white jerseys. For what it's worth, probably not much, but it was interesting. Josh Hart, yes, another one assist shy of a double-double. As we said, he's been stuck on 21 double-doubles now for the season. It's been about a week. He had 21 double-doubles all of last season. That's why we bring it up. He already has 21 this season. Almost got there tonight. In fact, almost another triple-double. Had 7 points, 12 rebounds, and 9 assists. Another wonderful night from Josh Hart. As we said, Mikal Bridges made his long-awaited return. It was the first time in Brooklyn since the trade in July. If you recall, the Nets got back 5 first-round picks from New York. Hard to determine who won that trade. Now we've only played 45 games of the regular season, but as of now, I think the Knicks are pretty comfortable with the swap in what they got, and that obviously is Mikal Bridges. All right, leading scorer for the Nets tonight was D'Angelo Russell, although he chucked tonight. He scored 23, but 6 of 17 from the floor, 4 of 11 from 3, and admittedly, he needs to take shots. The Nets don't have a scorer, especially without Ben Simmons, and especially without Cam Thomas. The Nets are beat up. They're undermanned. They've got a brand new coach. They're looking towards the future. Kudos to them for hanging tough with the overpowering Knicks tonight. The Nets are now 14-30, just 5-13 at Barclays. And who else who better to check the standings then, as we do every single postcast after the 99-95 win. The Knicks still in the 3rd spot in the conference. Of course, they are a game and 2.5 now behind the Celtics, and they continue to be 9 behind Cleveland. A check on Cleveland and Oklahoma City. We do that after every postcast just because these teams are so ridiculous. Thunder 35-7, Cavaliers 36-6. So they are neck and neck for the best record in the sport. We still have to do the schedule. We'll do that coming up next as we look ahead. Knicks, after a net victory over Brooklyn, 99-95. All right, basketball season is heating up, and there's no better way to get real money action while watching your favorite NBA stars than with Prize Picks. Whether you're a diehard fan or just some friendly competition, well, Prize Picks makes it fun and easy to turn your basketball knowledge into cash. Here's how it works. Pick more or less on and at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Think LeBron's going to drop 30, or maybe Luka's going to get more than 8 assists? Prize Picks lets you make your predictions and put your money where your mouth is in just 60 seconds. I've been using Prize Picks all season. Let me tell you, it is addictive. Last week, I picked Jason Tatum for more than 29, Anthony Edwards for more than 25. That's the kind of action I'm talking about. And with Prize Picks Flex Play option, even if one of my picks doesn't hit, I can still double my money. Plus, once I do hit, I get my money fast, sometimes as quick as 15 minutes. It's honestly the best way to keep the game exciting. Now's the perfect time to join. Download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. That's right. No need to win to get the bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. All right, we are back as the postcast carries into segment number 3. After a 99-95 win for the Knicks over the Nets, bragging rights once again belong to New York, at least the Knicks, because that's 9 consecutive wins for the Knicks over the Nets. What's funny about this series, and we're only taking back 2 streaks. We don't have enough time. But the Knicks have beaten the Nets now 9 straight times. Prior to that, the Nets had beaten the Knicks 9 straight times. That's a lot, folks. So it's been streaky of late. Mikal Bridges makes his return, scores only 10 points, 3 of 12 shooting. We talked about the fact the Knicks tried to get the ball to Bridges early. The shots weren't really going down, and that sort of fizzled late. He only took 12 shots, 2 of 6 from 3. But again, a quiet night. He only played 34 minutes, well below his average. Only scored 10 points, only grabbed 1 rebound, only dished out 2 assists. So again, a very quiet night for Mikal Bridges in his return, but I'm guessing he doesn't care because the win is all that matters. As for the defensive side of the ball, once again, the Knicks played tough, and it's something you like to see under Tibbs. They were tough against Atlanta. They were tough against Brooklyn. Tonight, 11 steals and 3 blocks. Interesting stuff. And the Knicks only committed 10 turnovers, below their season average of right around 13. They dished out 29 assists, so 1 short of the benchmark we look for every single night. The Knicks were 16-1 when 30-plus assists in a game goes down. It didn't go down tonight, but still a good number. 29 assists to just 10 turnovers. And the Knicks also forced 16 turnovers by Brooklyn. Brooklyn had just 21 assists. So again, excellent assist to turnover ratios on both the offensive and defensive side for the Knicks, who again are now 29-16 overall, 15-8 away. As for the schedule, we've been talking about this 5-game homestand a lot, and it's finally going to go down. As we said, the Knicks will have Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday off. We'll take a deep breath, reassess, get healthy. Maybe the thumb of Cat could use some rest. In fact, I know it could. So they'll enjoy 3 days off. Saturday at the Garden, Saturday night, the first of 5 straight at home, all against Western Conference teams. Here we go. Saturday, Sacramento. Monday, Memphis. Wednesday, Denver. The following Saturday against the Lakers. And then the following Monday against Houston before we hit the road again. So again, 5 Western Conference teams, no slouches among them. Sacramento, Memphis, Denver, the Lakers, and Houston. Yes, all 5 games on Madison Square Garden's court. However, stiff competition. We get Jokic in. We get LeBron in. An idea of what the Knicks are looking at over the next really week and a half before we hit the road again. And by the way, they don't hit the road until February, Tuesday, February 4th in Toronto. That is the next road game for the Knicks. Again, they had 2, let's count them up for you, in January. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 road games in January. That's all they had. And of course, they had the struggles early in January. So maybe the Knicks are turning the corner here and things will get better. All right, your favorite podcast now has a newsletter. Introducing the Locked On Knicks Daily Newsletter, one stop for ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. LockedOnDaily.com. Start your day with the all-new free Locked On Knicks newsletter. Also want to mention our partners in crime, Gavin Shaw and Alex Wolf, the All-Stars, over at Locked On Knicks. So follow, subscribe, enjoy. Those guys do the best work over at Locked On Knicks. Bragging rights go to the Knicks. They beat the Nets tonight 99-95. The Knicks have won 5 of their last 11. So they're 5-6 in their last 11. And remember where they were. They were 3-6 in their last 9. So things are getting better. 9-2 in their last 11 road games. 8-1 versus the Atlantic Division this season. And again, they won 9 straight over the Nets. That'll do it for this edition of the Postcast. Again, a couple of days off, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We'll lick our wounds. Right back at it Saturday night against Sacramento at the Garden. Tip time, 7:30. Until then, enjoy your week.